Welcome to Turtle WoW News with Vrograg. I'm your news anchor orc, Vrograg Fishslayer, here to bring you all the server news for the week of August 22nd, 2023. I am broadcasting from the islands of the Darkspear Trolls, the Echo Isles, in my search for a better fishing spot, though the mosquitoes seem to love me a good deal more than I love the fish. Today, we continue covering all the trials and tribulations of a growing server, take a look at the market with Market Watch, cover the recent changelogs, yes there were two since we last spoke, and our feature, which will once more have yours truly blabbing away about something. So, let's get to it. I'm the Orc, and here's the news. Our top story this week is about the ongoing population boom on Turtle WoW, which has been the culprit for long queues, lag spikes, and frustrations all over the server. As recently as Sunday, I witnessed new server population records being broken once more, and with it, server performance issues. On Monday morning, Jamie posted in the announcements channel, acknowledging the growing concerns for players, saying this: "We are aware of the influx of players causing big queues and lags in-game with increasingly high player numbers. We understand the frustration that comes with this. We as a team share your frustration as we want to be able to give everyone a welcoming and positive player experience. We've been working day and night behind the scenes to address this. Our plans have not changed. The projected release data for the new Southeast Asia realm is still Q3. In the meanwhile, we're doing everything we can to alleviate the issues that arise in rush hour." When looking at the recent changelogs, every changelog for the last month has included a change to help alleviate the struggles of a crowded server, from dynamic respawn times to performance enhancements to hardcore character lag spike protections, and most recent was in the midweek changelog of August 20th saying, "We have modified the queue system to prioritize veteran players. This feature is a work in progress." Since the latest announcement is a little vague about how veteran status is determined, I sought out official word from Acalix, the community manager, for clarification. He says, "A handful of things are taken into consideration. Some of the obvious ones are things like registration, playtime, etc. This will be a nice concession to those that have long supported the server, and graciously is not a matter of donation status or character progression. We will continue watching how the administration handles the population growth and eagerly await the Southeast Asia servers opening. Now, let's take a look at how the GM team has been handling the growth. The historic growing pains have given the Game Master team a mountain of challenges to climb, dealing with bad actors both in and out of the game. Acalix shared with me that in the past 6 months, the GM team has handled as many tickets as they have in the previous 4 years of the server's history. The team has also finished working on their 1000th ban appeal, a meteoric achievement for this primarily volunteer team. But it hasn't all been the grunt work of reviewing ban appeals. The team has been innovating to meet the new challenges, boasting some new bot detection and removal technology in the ongoing war against RMT. Acalix shared with me news of an advanced log parsing software to track RMT and hackers, and another one that detects gold sellers as soon as they create dummy characters with a reported 100% accuracy rate. Take a look at this big whale they caught trying to cheapen all the work the honest players of Turtle WoW have done. Now that is one heck of a fishing story. It should be stated that in the cloak and dagger world of RMT and hacking, this reporter orc cannot do much to verify these claims without hacking myself. But much of the evidence provided to me from the Turtle team has appeared convincing, and the community is always curious about what is being done in this regard, so I thought it was worth mentioning. Nevertheless, make sure to thank your local GM when you see them in the Discord or in the game. I have seen firsthand the boring, thankless, and repetitive work they are tasked with. Without their efforts, we would not be able to enjoy a fair, fun, and enjoyable experience. Alright, that does it now for top stories and announcements for the week. Let's take a look at the auction house with Market Watch. This is Market Watch, Turtle Wow News' weekly glance at the top commodities on the merged auction house. Before we get to the stocks, there was a major announcement that will affect all the traders of Azeroth that needs to be pointed out. The August 16th changelog has altered how items are posted to the auction house. In an attempt to lessen excessive postings, there is a cap of 120 auctions per character as a limit, and listing fees will be higher when an item has a higher stack amount than that which is posted. The days of dozens of pages of one single runecloth auctions clogging up the auction house are over. But this may change the dynamic for other items, so invest wisely and keep your eye out for item listings to change over time. Now let's get to the stocks. Black Lotus. 2 weeks ago, things were volatile, but since the market has stabilized and is slowly trending down in price, perhaps signs that we finally moved through a bubble. We will continue to track this flask-making herb to see if the inflation of mid-July settles back to June prices, or if this is just a calm before another big price jump. Grom's Blood. Recently, this herb has shown high volatility, frenetically bouncing between the 70s and as low as the 30s of silvers. The push and pull of supply and demand netting a 5 silver decrease in 2 weeks. As regular farming continues on this herb, we may see that the price will continue to fall, giving reason to speculate that the prices of May and June also might have been a bubble, and now we're just seeing the deflation. We will continue to watch as the average price of Grom's Blood slowly heads towards 50 silver. Cured Rugged Hide. Hang on tight. The leatherworking item just had a huge spike in value, and over 2 weeks has been appreciating in value. We haven't seen price averages like this since mid-June, and if you've been stockpiling the hides while the market fell in the last month, you might stand to make a big pile of coin in the near future. Arcane Crystals. This rarely found mining good has spent some time the last 2 weeks over the 30 gold mark, but supply and some other pressures have pushed it back down towards 29. No doubt, hoarders looking to cash in while the price is good. We can see that the average price is starting to flag in the mid-30s, meaning that this might be the summit of the mountain for this gem. Mooncloth. This time-locked fabric is still slowly falling in price, losing about 3.5 gold in the last 2 weeks, with a few low points near 13 gold showing that demand is really flagging for this commodity. It's been like this for a few months, seeming to be on a trajectory to lose 50% of its value since late May, where it stood at 30 gold. Who knows what role Mooncloth might play in the new patch, so this might be a good time to stock up if you're into speculative buying. Large Brilliant Shards. These last 2 weeks, the price has remained flat overall, only varying up or down about 10% of its 3.8 gold valuation. This may be the new price for a while with such stability. Surely this dramatic historical price drop is due to so many people being able to farm and sell shards reliably. With so much supply, the price can only fall, but this does seem to be flattening finally, as demand remains steady. Stone Scale Eel. Watching market trends for items so readily obtained and likewise needed by players is a careful game. It should be noted though that recently the slippery fish has slowly increased in price as of late, a sign that demand is outpacing supply. We can see this as generally price fluctuations like this are followed with a drop, but one has yet to come. Keep an eye out, merchant mariners of Azeroth, there might be some gold to be made out in the oceans. The S&V. This week for the S&V, we have a new addition to Turtle Wow's only index of the auction house. After a few months of price observation, Stone Scale Eel has proven to be a reliable indicator of the fishing market, and will be thrown into the mix as a market indicator from when its price was first tracked. For comparison, here is the S&V with and without Stone Scale Eel. It isn't the biggest player in the formula I use, but by adding more stocks to the index, it does help mitigate one booming stock like Arcane Crystals from dictating everything we can see about the larger picture of the market. It does seem like the market is heading back up again. More players, more farmers, and more demand, all making for a dynamic marketplace with actually only modest inflation as of recently. and still staying under index values from back in late May. I hope you enjoyed our newly christened SNV7, and for anyone curious about how I get these values, I'll put up an infographic on my process that you're welcome to pause the video at. And make sure to give me any feedback because, as I often remind everyone, I'm a simple reporter orc, and I am not an economist. That's all we have for now though on Market Watch. We're always evolving our program within Turtle WoW News to help the many players on the server. I hope you enjoyed what we had. Now, let's return to Vrograg with coverage of the changelog. The last week saw not one, but two changelogs enter the server code. The normal scheduled one on August 16th, and then a surprise one on August 20th. There is a lot to get to, so let's jump in with the Changelog Roundup. Two tweaks made it into both changelogs for Alterac Valley. This continues developers' strong push to make the big battleground more fair and less full of cheesy exploits. The one on the 16th was to patch up a backdoor on the Alliance side, and on the 20th, changes were made to prevent players from standing on top of tents to bug out NPC and player targeting. Also in PvP changelog news is a strange yet certainly necessary change coming to spirit healers, who evidently were able to resurrect players from opposing factions. As of the 20th, this bug should no longer be present. The final PvP changelog note added here is about mages. Our studious arcane allies will no longer be permitted to open portals in battlegrounds. Whether this change was made to prevent lazy players from using battlegrounds as a hub to get a portal to their next destination, or to grief other factions with a clickable portal on top of important NPCs is not understood, since no sign of this appeared on the bug tracker. On to PvE concerns. Some developing stories from previous changelogs received more tweaking. Last broadcast, we shared that steps had been taken to ensure accidental flagging would not happen from a variety of effects, like those of abilities that might accidentally chain to nearby flagged players when the user themselves is not flagged. As of the August 9th changelog, players will also be unable to accidentally target flagged players when the player isn't flagged with multi-target spells like multi-shot. Another continuing story from last week, everyone's favorite little pocket healer got another adjustment. Last week, the Timbermaw ally was fixed to actually heal as intended, and during the weekend hotfix, the little helper will continue to heal even when out of combat, which certainly helps since the ally is only out for a limited time. And finally, to end the saga of additional tweaks added to recent changes, dueling received another change on the 16th to help avoid more unfortunate casualties to hardcore players looking to have a little fun. During duels, Spell Reflects won't kill players involved in a duel, which leads me to believe there are some very intense dueling that has been going on around Azeroth. There were other changes, of course, and I encourage all viewers of Turtle WoW News to look at them for themselves to remain educated. But for now, that's all we'd like to cover for the Changelog Roundup. Now, let's move to our feature story. Last week, I gave an editorial about wanting to steer clear of drama, and it felt empowering to give voice to my views on that matter, as a point of continuing to bring the community together. Once more, I find myself wanting to speak out about our community and how we treat one another. So let's talk about the Kodo in the room, the Chinese player base. It is sadly easy to verify that there are growing tensions among the international community of Turtle WoW. There has been increasing racist remarks in and out of the game, much of it pointed squarely at the exploding Chinese player base. This in turn has made even more work for the team, who wish to steer clear their international community away from this derogatory behavior. This last Sunday, in a since-deleted announcement, Torta had to lock down Discord while the server crashed during peak hours. And the reason for that? Extreme amounts of racism and degenerative behavior. With a gallon of eye bleach and a respirator mask, I can confirm it really got out of hand. So, do I have some sweeping grand statement to make about the Chinese player base? No, I'm not even remotely qualified to do that. What I do want to say is that we can all do better. Just yesterday, I was playing on my mage, and I received a blank whisper from a level 28 mage. After I pointed out to them that their messages were blank to me, I received a Google Translate special of word salad, asking about Firestorm, which is not a spell or ability mages have. Now, I could have blocked them, ignored them, and just gone about my day, but I remembered being new to the server. So, after about 15 minutes of trial and error, I figured out that this Chinese player was trying to find out if the improved Flame Strike talent buffed the spell critical or the spell's hit chance, since their translation left it vague. Once I could clarify for them that it was indeed only critical chance, they happily replied with what I assumed to be an approximation of a smiley face, and went on their way. I bring this up not because I'm some model citizen. No, I've definitely been a jerk before, and I probably will again. But I bring this up because it's a good microcosm for what everyone is going through on the server. Things are difficult. They require patience. The team is stressed out, players are stressed out, there's a lot of stress to go around. Before spewing enough trash to make Torta have to shut down the Discord, stop, take a breath. We are a community, not just because we play the same game, but because of how we treat one another. Yes, it is easy to get frustrated about a queue and blame China. Chinese players don't relish their mere desire to play a game being a problem as well. The hard work of building the community requires all of us to be kinder to one another. I am under no illusion that hate will ever be eliminated from any server anywhere. That's not what I'm asking of anyone. I'm asking that we all take a moment to try and be patient, be empathetic, and when we get upset, choose not to let that anger become hatred. I'm simply asking that we do better. Turtle WoW deserves it, and so do you. That concludes the programming for the August 22nd broadcast. Thank you for joining me. There will be plenty more content to come, with the patch on the horizon, and also with live radio. I'll be a busy little orc, so stay tuned. If you'd like to reach me, my DMs are open in Discord, whispers in game work, in-game mail, email at vrogragfishslayer@gmail.com works, and of course you can always ask questions during my weekly laid-back fishing chat sessions on Saturdays at noon East Coast US time. I hope to see you there. The mosquitoes here are beginning to bite quite a bit, so I best be heading out on my island hopping adventure. I wish you all safe travels wherever you go, and look forward to giving you the news once more. Be safe, and as always, remember, the deadliest weapon is knowledge.